much. I mean, it's a show of tremendous challenges, but all very rewarding. I think it definitely was a huge learning curve for me with the armor and the prosthetics. I'd never done anything like that before. But I was actually just saying to Glenn that the more I got used to it, it's like a workout routine. It's still tough, and you know that there's that one thing that point in the day where you need to take a breath or take a nap or whatever, but you get used to it, and ultimately I love the character so much that it's always worth it.
How long does it take to put all that on?
Now we've got it down to about 2 hours. In a typical, if it were down to 2 hours.
That's it.
Yeah, just a few. But it is actually, Glenn has said that if it were a kind of more of a movie setting, it would be typically more of a 4-hour makeup. But because it's TV and the turnaround and everything, they have found a way through 3D printing technology, pre-painting. It's about 2 hours now. But it's fun. We play 80s music in the trailer, and James is great, and they like me because I don't complain much. So.
Yeah, you get to play this really complicated and fascinating character. I was wondering what some of your favorite scenes from the first season were to shoot.
A lot of really, really exciting, meaty scenes. I think the scene that will always have a place near and dear to my heart is actually in episode 4 in the dilithium processor when Vogue and Laurel are strangely flirting. It was just such a beautiful kind of experience that episode, because we kind of found who these characters were to each other. Olatunde on Tsunami, who directed it, was so loving and allowed us to really find that. And that scene was just kind of the culmination. It's so beautifully lit, and you get to see a softness to Laurel that for a lot of the show you don't see it, but I like that it's near the beginning, so you're like, I remember that person was there, why is she doing all this craziness? And then episode 10 being directed by Jonathan Frakes and doing that very complex scene with Shazad between Tyler and Laurel was really invigorating, and Jonathan is such an amazing director. We just had so much fun playing, and he gets really excited. He'd be on the side of the monitor going, yes, 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 go, 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 and then he would like have me repeat certain lines, like what the Klingon, like, the prayer should make you remember. And he's like, say it again, say it again. So certainly those were two of my favorites.
Any trepidation to being part of such a cultural phenomenon as Star Trek?
It's definitely, I mean, it's a huge undertaking, and I think we all do really take it seriously. For me, when I feel that sort of fear or trepidation, I dive into research, and that's really, once I got the part, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go. I got the Klingon dictionary, I started reading through it, I got all the Klingon-centric books that are available, watched the Klingon-centric episodes on all the different series, because there's this amazing comprehensive list on the Wikia page. So for me, I tried to process my fear through research and work, and then of course once you're on set and you start to feel the chemistry between all the characters and actors, you start to be like, oh, here we are. And Siniqua is just the champion of that. She just knows what it is to be a part of a franchise and leads us all with so much love and kindness. So I feel very grateful that the people around me are not mean. Otherwise I would be a lot more scared, I think.
Was there a turning point at all in this where, like in the process of getting started with the show, where you're like, yeah, this is me?
Like the character, like, well, what's been so beautiful, and I've expressed this to the writers' room, it was this crazy parallel between, like, me, I had come out of school pretty recently, this was my first big job, I had...
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, it was quite a blessing. But to find a role where I was starting to come into my own and use the skills that I had developed, and then Laurel is someone who was so smart and really, quite skilled, but doesn't see herself as a leader, doesn't see herself as someone who's at the forefront, prefers the shadows. I started to embrace that was my journey as well, and it was a beautiful, dance, for lack of a better metaphor, just between conversations with the writers, and then instinctually, I mean, so often I would get a script and be like, oh my gosh, how are they able to understand that that's where I am in my life right now?
Oh, wow.
I need to, and then of course that culminating in the finale, kind of having to stand up to the High Council was a huge moment, I got to channel all my fear and anxiety and nervousness over speaking a full page in Klingon into how Laurel felt, because she was probably pretty nervous too. So yeah, there have been a lot of great parallels. Yeah.
So the Klingon language, do you sometimes stumble over there and go, how am I going to pronounce that?
Yeah. Well, it is. It's so wonderful that it's already such a developed language. I mean, that comes with its own responsibility,
right.
But because it's something that I can literally talk to our translator who speaks it fluently. She's not like just pulling it out of the air. And at the same time, there are words that we've used that she ran by Mark Okrin, and they decided what this new word would be because it hadn't been used in Klingon in the franchise yet. So it's a kind of an interesting balance of feeling like you can take ownership of your version of it, but also adhering to what came before, which is pretty much the Trek story. But now I feel like I can read and write it. It's pretty close to English symbols. It's just sometimes like the GH is a certain sound and the capital H is a different sound. So that differentiation, now that I'm more comfortable with that, I feel like I can see it on the page and start to pronounce it on my own pretty well. It doesn't just look like a weird gobbledygook of letters.
That's a hell of a way to put it.
Yeah.
What do I do with that?
Yeah.
So can you whip out a line in?
The phrase, I just used it in the Qui permette anko, which is I will not reveal military secrets, which I've had to use a lot. But I also, one line that is very much a tenet of Laurel's, the actual line was cut from the scene, but I say "B'chachmech yemosh," which is to conquer compromise, or use compromise to conquer. And first of all, I just love the way it sounds. It flows beautifully, because a lot of the time, there are certain phrases in the Klingon that just translate so well, like they're very visceral and they kind of embody, and that's just one of them. I also, from my speech at the end, when I say, we are proud, we are honorable, and we will become one again, it felt like such a speech, like, Machem, Maku, Wa, Dor, Wemochka. Like, it just felt like what I was trying to say, so I love those moments. Those are the ones that stick in my brain.
So what are you excited? So now that, your character was given the bomb, basically, to blow up the
Yeah.
planet.
That's one way.
And it's rallying them around becoming one. What are you excited for in this coming season to be able to explore their character?
Well, I have so much faith in the writer's room. I love all of them. Some of them I'm getting to know, but those of them that are returning from last year, particularly, having Gretchen at the head, Erica and Bowie, Ted Sullivan, they all have very similar feminist beliefs, and I think that they understand that Laurel's story can manifest in a way that's different from the Federation, because Federation is beyond just certain sort of misogyny, and there's still remnants of that in the Klingon Empire. So I hope that is what gets to be continued to explore, because I felt that was very present in the first season.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So having had the benefit of first season having come in, are there any ways in which your character has developed that has surprised you, whether on page or how you approached it? Has it developed surprisingly?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, there have been a lot of surprises. The one surprise early on that then kind of manifested in different ways was the softness. Like, it was actually, I remember filming 4 and feeling like that we were getting this intimacy that I didn't necessarily expect. But then we were still filming the season when those episodes started airing, and I remember when 4 came out, I had no idea that she was that vulnerable in certain moments. And I think that really allowed me, I think I had like the last 3 or 4 episodes left to film, so it empowered me to kind of really embrace that as I took those last few scenes and moments. But everything was, it was always fun to get a new script, because I never quite knew what they were going to do. I mean, the whole Tyler plot was so complex and interesting. I remember turning to Sonequa around episode 10. I was like, do you know how this is gonna? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I respect you. Like, but actually, more of a surprising moment, kind of off screen, was actually that scene in episode 10. Sonequa and Jason happened to be on set for the next scene, and Shazad and I didn't know. So for like most of his close-ups, they were watching us do the scene over and over again. It was complex and crazy. And then midway through, Shaniqua comes in and she's like crying, and she's like, "You guys!" And testament to how amazing she is. Like, she was just so thrilled with what she was seeing, and she could see the complexity of what was going on between these characters, and she said it formed her so much. And Shazad and Shaniqua and I had this bizarre hug with me in the jail suit and like all this, but it was like a really beautiful moment where I think it was us as artists as well as the characters kind of being like, okay, well, this is an interesting story. But that was a genuine surprise. I didn't know she was watching. And then later on, Jason was like, "It's very good." that was,
Gotta keep his poker face on.
Yeah.